Objection! Hello, everypony! I'm MasterCode, your ace analyst, and today we take a look at a rather special one-shot, Skye's Secret. We start off with Skye's mother concerned for her daughter about hiding her disability, that we will get into later, as she is scared if Violette knows about it, she will no longer want to be her friend. Right off the bat, we have a realistic and relatable dilemma. It's a natural fear to willingly admit any negative aspects about your life to a friend, especially a disability, because you don't know how your friends are going to react. Thus, it's also natural for those to hide it as well. Skye's mom also acknowledges the aspects about the condition her daughter has, but also understands that Skye has to do things on her own as well. We find out that Skye and Violette are tasked with writing a report on their activities over summer vacation, and Skye is actually allowed to escort Violette back to Bridalwood without her mother by her side. But not more than a few steps outside their house, Skye...
I meant to do that.
Yikes! So yeah, she flips ass over tea kettle after stepping on a rock.
It was a big rock.
Of course, she just passes it off as her just horsing around to both her mother and Violette, and they go back to their journey to Bridalwood. Along the way, the two detour to Zephyr Heights and discover there's a fair today, and Skye sees this as an opportunity to make the report that much more memorable with that sly troublemaking look. Now, when I started reading this comic, I will say that overall, Skye is a much better character than Violette. But hear me out. Both are two sides of the same coin, but Skye's character has been executed much better so far. Both are exuberant fillies that like adventure and have disabilities, but while Violette was a less sympathetic brat in her first introduction, Skye is more weird, spontaneous zebra, willing to risk getting into trouble, and it makes her more unpredictable and that much more interesting. In other words, Skye is kind of Violette done right. Though I will be fair, Violette is supportive and helpful to Skye, and my opinion on her did get better as this comic went on, and I started to come around on her character as we'll see later. So the girls run into the pipsqueaks and they talk about the fair, and Skye is visibly concerned as the others mention the various attractions, and the blue one, I don't care, they're all the same character, knows to some degree about Skye's condition, and we see Skye throughout the comic fearing her secret being revealed, seeing her chastising herself in a somewhat creepy manner. Speaking of which, I figured I might as well talk about the artwork. I think the greatest strength are the expressions. Every emotion from complete jubilee to fear and sadness feels greatly exemplified. You feel the power of every emotion, especially the anxiety that Skye suffers with. Though I will admit there is one unsettling critique about the faces, that is the eyes.
I have special eyes.
Most of the time they look accurate, but there are a fair amount of instances where the eyes just look like they're just staring into my soul. Otherwise, the characters and backgrounds are colorful, and there's a good amount of energy during the more kinetic scenes, and overall looks really good. Later on, we see the two hang out in the gardens of Zephyr Heights, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes. Just seeing the two casually talk about what it'd be like to be Pegasi and soar across the sky, just kind of shooting with each other and chilling out. It's a cute little bonding moment between the two, acknowledging their limitations, but seeing alternative activities to replicate the experience, which leads them to having a little race, which Skye wins, but leads to her leg problems, peaking, and passes out from pain.
I think I'm going to stop standing up now.
Skye wakes up and realizes that she can't hide this anymore. But even on the verge of confession, Violette stops her, knowing that this is a difficult moment for her, and will continue to support her. And it was this moment right here that I really flipped on my original opinion of Violette, and this made her a much more dynamic character. Skye reveals that she has a condition called Zebra Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I had to do a little research on the subject, and it's here we see just how clever the writing is. While everyone experiences the different aspects of the disorder, it's characterized by joint hypermobility, skin and tissue sensitivity, chronic pain, wounds not fully healing, or scoliosis. In Skye's case, she seems to inhabit the joint hypermobility, skin tissue sensitivity, and chronic pain. Now, the clever thing about choosing this condition for Skye specifically, as I inferred earlier, is the fact that the zebra is actually the symbol for this disorder, as the allegory is, while the stripes indicate the animal as a zebra, much like how stripes are always different, so are the levels and problems associated with said disease. And the other reason that Skye hid this from Violette was the fact that she doesn't really have that many friends at all. And in fact, after her diagnosis, the friends that used to play with her originally now didn't want to play with her anymore, as they basically saw her as a liability. A harsh but realistic depiction of kids reacting to something they don't fully understand or don't want to associate with. Violette, of course, still accepts her and wants to remain friends forever, and it's a rather sweet scene. By the way, something you'll notice after this point is that originally Violette used bandages or gauze that matched the color of her other stripes, but now that she's revealed herself, she's wearing pink or multicolored bandages, a visual indicator of her overcoming her disorder anxiety, showing some real growth here. Anyway, the Phillies arrive at Izzy's house, and soon after, both their parents arrive as well. And it's here we find that Izzy has created a cool custom wheelchair for Skye to remove the stress of her traveling long distances around Equestria. And if there is one aspect I do admire about Izzy is her creativity, building unique creations not just for aesthetic purposes, but also willing to help her friends' shortcomings. Now, there is a legit criticism I had for this comic, and it's this scene where Skye's mother apologizes for keeping her daughter under her hooves for so long to keep her safe. Okay, we saw Mariyama show concern for her daughter's safety multiple times, but there was never a time in this comic or in the previous comic where she was overbearingly protective, like Applejack in Some Pony to Watch Over Me. We never saw Skye's mother say, "No, you can't do that, it's too dangerous," or "You can't venture to the outside world anymore," or making any other extreme comments like that. Just seems like an odd bit of dialogue to throw in at this point when there's nothing to really justify it. Anyway, to wrap up, Skye, Violette, and every pony return back to the Zephyr Heights Fair, and the girls engage in various fun activities, Skye having the time of her life, though I don't think she should really be riding in bumper cars for safety of her leg.
Woo! Bumper cars, bumper cars, bumper cars. Here!
The girls complete their quote-unquote report, which was really just a way for the girls to record their fantastic memories, and Skye enjoys her brand new ride. So that was Skye's Secret, and I gotta say, it was actually pretty good. You got a great, likable character in Skye who's funny, weird, and over the top, and while the comic doesn't shy away from the issues she suffers from, it comes off as a fun, bittersweet story that those with similar conditions can relate to. Violette herself, as I said, really turned her character around and was a great addition and friend to Skye's plight. For being a one-shot that establishes so much, it was executed rather well. And my only criticisms were minor concerns in the grand scheme of things, as the comic did everything else so well. I'd highly recommend checking it out, and be sure to like and subscribe. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, MC out!